outside? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The roads are getting kind of wet and slippery. So I guess when we're following each other, just kind of stay
Maybe a car length or
6
two.
seconds behind me or something.
Okay, I got you.
When we pull up to a traffic signal or stop sign, kind of just stay 30 car lengths behind me.
Okay.
That way in case someone rams into you, you don't have to ram into me.
Okay. Just looking out for himself.
Oh, you know, just,
Yeah,
you
no,
can
no,
avoid
I
two
just-
collisions.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it was kind of wet out there.
I think it should be fine. I was driving this
It
one.
wasn't too bad.
I was expecting you guys at 9:30, that's probably when I'm trying to get the car ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna take longer, but we
Yeah, I
really
thought so
didn't
too, but
hit
you haven't
traffic.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
Pretty good.
We
I
didn't
came all the
want.
way from UT.
Yeah, we didn't want to get caught in traffic. So.
Ireland is kind of slow. We're about to upgrade it tonight. Not in network, so.
Oh, okay.
Might be. Were you guys able to get anything started?
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
you
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Did you get those contour files?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the contour files.
Did you guys understand why I said they were only good for drainage, those 2-foot contours?
Mm,
Is it the accuracy? How
Yeah,
they're too big?
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
What the 2-foot contours are basically, it's an aerial flight. And these airplanes are just taking shots. And they're not real accurate. They're just trying to get an idea of what the terrain's doing.
Mm.
But I mean, actually 2%, 2 plus or minus 2 foot is actually pretty decent for something that's not supposed to be that accurate. But so we say it's good enough for drainage because, as you guys know,
Okay.
there's a lot of assumptions you make in drainage calculations, and so for drainage purposes, 2-foot contours are always good when you're delineating a drainage area. Probably 10-meter contours, which is what you normally see on the topo map, is more than sufficient to outline a drainage area.
Okay.
But we use the 2-foot contours. We usually send a surveyor in the actual channel
Yeah.
because if you know, when there's a lot of tree coverage and you got a plane flying over it taking measurements, the trees will block a lot of that.
Okay.
And so we always get detailed cross sections in the channel. But like for this project, just go ahead and use those 2-foot contours, and then now you guys did get detailed survey within the right of way of the bridge and the channel.
Right.
So you can kind of adjust the elevations. We'll kind of fudge the
Mhm.
upstream and downstream cross sections
Okay.
to get a more detailed cross section to the
Cross-section.
channel. But we always use those 2-foot contours if our survey didn't pick up enough information or get us a long enough cross section. We'll just
Mhm.
extend it using those 2-foot contours.
Okay.
That's more than sufficient.
Okay.
Where the heck are we? So there's 30, 28, so 180's to the north, and we're basically going to be driving 180 that way, which is just right here.
Okay.
We get to 113 and make a left, head south,
Okay.
and then we'll head west once we get to Millsap.
Okay.
And then Rock Creek's not too far from there, so
Very
and there's Rock Creek right here. It's right by Bennett Road.
Okay. 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 Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're going to be going to this kind of windy road. There's no shoulders there, so we'll drive a little slow. This is one of the roads we're actually going to widen in the future. Here's 180, and our office is just back here to the east.
Now, when y'all do widening, how much are y'all talking about on both sides?
Well, like
Is it
these
4
rural,
feet?
these rural roads, yeah, we usually just tack on 4-foot shoulders.
Okay.
And I guess the reason we do widenings on these roads, and you guys don't know anything else, but since you asked,
Yeah.
basically people run off the road, and there's a good number of run off the road accidents, where we want to try to prevent that by providing a little more paved surface to keep them on the road and not running off of it.
I gotcha.
So the office is, as you can see, this is a bankhead. We're basically right here.
Okay.
So we're gonna get on that 180 head all the way west.
Okay.
Just want to give you guys an idea in case we get separated. I don't think we will. But. And then 113 and cool on the left.
Okay.
Go down to 3028 and make a right. So I guess if you want to ask questions now in advance, or would you prefer to do the site visit then and come back and ask questions, or it's up to you guys?
I think that's beneficial. We go out there, see what's
well,
out there, and then we kind of have a idea of what we're trying to look at, and then
Okay.
we'll think of some questions while we.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Whenever we're doing the detours alignment, we need to have a ground surface
Yeah.
to show like for our grade
Oh, you
design
need
and
an
everything.
exactly. You need
So-
to take wherever you place your alignment for that
Mhm.
detour.
Yeah.
And,
And how should we get the
there's
total
I
information?
gave
for
you a
that?
tin file.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got.
If you have geopack,
Yeah.
once you store an alignment where you want it, you
Mhm.
can extract an existing ground profile through there real easy.
But it
Yeah.
only goes within that right of way.
Yeah, it does. We
Well,
actually
your detour
yeah.
needs to remain within the right of way. So,
Oh really?
yeah.
So there's 11 feet. So there's 21 feet on the roadway, right? 22. I'm sorry.
It should be
It's
probably about
11 foot
11
lanes.
foot lanes, yeah.
Yeah. So 22 feet, and there's no shoulders. There's
I
no.
don't think there's no shoulders.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just go out there. And
Yeah.
take a
I
look
have
at it.
another quick question
Yeah.
too on the contour things you said, on the
Yes, sir.
elevations. Oh, I was just wondering if we could pull up the picture, that's because I have it on the Dropbox, or not Dropbox, the Google Drive. Because I was sort of trying to do the cross-section
Okay.
areas, but I wasn't sure if it was a.
Yeah, and that's something we can
Yeah.
settle here. If you got a layout that you want us to look at.
I have a bigger image on there. I'll take a look at it. I don't know if it's done correctly or not.
And I remember you were saying that they might have to be extended out a little bit further.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it won't be as
they'll
straight.
have to be extended as far as the flooding limits go.
Okay.
And that's something that takes a little bit of trial and error. You have to run it first, and if you see the water surface is extending past your cross section,
Yeah.
then that's when you keep adding
Keep going.
points. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
no big deal. But yeah, there's a lot of trial and error.
One thing I wanted to know is how far do we want to extend our profile? Like how far back, up and down the
Yeah,
creek do we
so-
go?
There's a rule of thumb. I know I sent you the head drive manual,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you some guidance. Remember, you're supposed to have a minimum of 4 cross
Right.
sections.
Before.
I see here that you guys are missing the two most important, which is the bounding cross sections. They usually just run parallel to the alignment
Right.
on the upstream and downstream.
Downstream.
All these are laid out correctly within the channel vicinity.
Okay.
So these are good crossing, and you can have as many as you want.
Okay.
But you don't want to send the surveyor out there to do extra
No.
work if you don't
If
have
you
to.
don't have to.
It gets expensive. Well, that's why we try to lay out our cross sections first, so that we don't have to pay a survey extra money due to useless cross sections that
Okay.
aren't going to give us any better results.
Yeah.
Uh,
If we start seeing like some consistency in our results and
Exactly.
different cross sections,
Yeah,
then
we
that's a good
yeah.
stopping point.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can always go back and just use the 2-foot contours with
Mhm.
geopack and all that, and
Okay.
kind of fudge this.
Fudge the-
Well,
fudge.
you gotta, I'm sorry, not fudge. For this one, I'm saying for your project, I'm saying fudge because it's in your project. But
Yeah.
in the real world, you'd want to have surveyed information.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
You got
Yeah.
to document all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, these are laid out. You basically perpendicular to the
Perpendicular
flow,
to
to
the
the contours,
Yeah.
and basically perpendicular to the flow. So then your next, I guess,
Oh, yeah, we did.
objective is how do you lay them out further out? Because I'm guaranteed you're gonna probably have to extend them out this way.
Yeah.
That floodplain's pretty big.
Okay.
And the whole reason we do this is basically to monitor the 100-year floodplain, or what we call the 1%
Oh,
AEP. I don't know if you read the hydraulic manual. I'm trying to get away from calling it 5-year, 10-year.
oh,
Because
okay.
people,
That's
when
a
they
new
read a
one.
report, locals can come do open records because they'll read it. What the hell? I mean, this thing's flooding every 5 years.
Yeah.
That's not what it means,
Right.
They don't understand that it's statistics.
Yeah.
Or, so every 100 years, so they're starting to call it like the 4%, 2%
Yeah.
AEP.
It's going.
It's slow, man.
Nah, it had a smaller.
So yeah, 2 more cross sections here. You might want to draw your existing bridge in,
Yeah, with,
and you basically want to just maybe like actually they're supposed to go to total slope. This is a total slope right there, right?
Yeah.
So I would just run them parallel along this alignment,
okay.
parallel. So just offset your alignment.
Okay.
By how much?
How many feet?
Oh,
How
yeah,
many feet?
They're supposed to go at the toe of the slope.
Yeah.
And the way I do it too, so that I can avoid more work, is I usually place them where the proposed, on either side of the proposed bridge width. Because you got your existing, which is probably so wide, right?
Yeah.
For example.
Right, yeah.
Then your proposed is gonna be, a little bit wider. So I would
Oh,
probably put
right, right.
these
Those just-
boundary
Oh.
sections.
I see what you're
See
saying.
what I'm saying?
So try and match
So
the
that
proposed
so you
bridge.
capture both conditions
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I went to
with
right
one
now.
cross section.
I got you.
Like,
I see
the
what you're saying.
download folder
So
on the
again, to
computer?
clarify, that was one along the center line and one along the edges of the bridge.
No, you don't need one on the center line.
You just
Uh,
need them on the edges,
on
because
the
I
edges
need
of the
the.
bridge.
in-
On the upstream
the
and
full-
downstream,
Upstream and
Okay.
downstream.
but make sure they're parallel to the center line of the roadway.
Swatch
Okay.
Netflix all day.
Yeah, that's a requirement, but you can't break those or
Mhm.
dog leg them like those
Okay.
other ones.
It's smaller than.
Cool. Yeah, these can be for sure.
Because I gotta make sure the water
Yeah.
don't go over the bridge.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
See, maybe you can start here and then do this one once they start like coming.
Yeah,
out
wait,
of
I don't
the
think we
center.
need all of these.
Yeah, maybe you might have to stop here and then you have to stop here. And once
That's
we see
fine.
that they're all the same, then we should be pretty confident with that.
Mm-hmm. But then we gotta extend them further out, but.
Mm-hmm.
It should be fine.
Go here?
Here?
Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to put it down.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Never mind.
What was an image of the?
Oh, it's the same thing. I can show you on here. It's probably higher resolution here. See, that's the image you sent us, right?
Yes.
The contours.
Yeah.
And I separated out by about 100 feet and then took the center at 50 feet. And
Yeah,
160,
that's fine,
160.
man, that's fine.
And then here the
And
bridge.
then this is for your channel flow line, right?
Mhm.
Center line,
To
yeah.
take the elevations of the channels. And like, I'm guessing like this is, you name it as the station goes. I was trying to read up on it earlier in Acras. So it'd be like 0, then
Yeah, you always
Distances.
start at the downstream and number them
upstream.
Number of
Backwards,
upstream.
up. Yes,
You start
as you're
downstream.
looking, you start downstream, look upstream, and the
That's-
stations increase.
Yeah. Okay.
This is part of the, what was it, the Brazo River, right?
Brazos, what was that?
Well, no, I was just trying to find out the hydraulic stuff on it. But no, it is the Rock Creek, that's where the
Yeah.
creek is, and then I took from the map, about 20 feet is the, I guess, the road, so that's how I sort of used it to find the different distances right there. I guess it was the road, that's the road, and that was about 20 feet, but you said it's about 22.
Yeah, 22
Yeah.
For what?
for the, between the,
So that's,
Yeah, so-
that's what I used.
Yeah, in
as
order to get
reference.
those, yeah, that's fine.
okay.
Yeah, just make it easier on yourself, just go in and reference on, I don't know, you can reference these contours to that alignment file.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it'll make it way easier, cause you have, your existing's already there,
Yeah.
surveyed.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
And
wasn't
then,
sure.
and then you can draw based on those design criteria. what the proposed width of that bridge is going to be.
Okay.
Draw around it, or add the proposed width, and then start laying out your cross section. I mean, these are all good here, but you had another question about how far, how many cross sections, or what the
Oh, yeah,
limitation
how
should have
many,
been,
how many
right?
should it be? Like, I know this
Just
bridge
one.
you should do,
Right.
Well, I think what you got, let me see.
I don't know if we should be more detailed, like with 10 or more.
Like I said, again, it's not gonna hurt to have more.
Yeah, it's gonna make it a little better.
It's not so bringing up a good question. So I didn't tell you this back when we met the first time. I wanted you guys to run into these issues, but
Mhm.
now that you're here, there's a rule of thumb that we use, when you're reading the HECRAS reference manual.
Yeah, I need to read through it.
The way we try to limit our cross sections is depending on where the bridge is. So let's just say this is the bridge right here.
That's
The
existing.
bridge structure,
Yeah.
existing. Say this is proposed. Either way you look at it. What you try to, if you can picture, like I said, you can imagine if you were a big flood coming through this bridge, you know, you'd be spread out through here. The floodplain's that wide.
Yeah.
And it has to try to squeeze itself through the bridge. So there's a point where it starts to contract upstream.
Okay.
That's your first cross section and the minimum of 4 cross sections.
Okay.
There's a point where it starts to contract, and that reference manual will tell you how to kind of estimate
Gauge
it
where it's
exactly,
at. Okay.
Based on like certain channel characteristics, which you can measure in microstation.
Okay.
From aerial images, you can get an idea of like the roughnesses and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
see how it looks.
Yeah, so there's a point somewhere here where the flow's gonna want to contract to go under the bridge
Mm-hmm.
opening. I'm kind of exaggerating.
Yeah.
I know the bridge opening. Let me.
Yeah, contract and expands once it comes down
Exactly.
again.
So, you can imagine the flood kind of
Yeah, just kind of
contracting like funnels,
Yeah.
basically.
the point
And then
at
it's
which
gonna expand back out as
Right.
it leaves. You know,
Right.
it may do something like that. So
the point at which
That's
it
the whole-
does it and where
exactly.
where
So
it
you
goes
usually
back.
have one cross section. That's the minimum, the
Yeah.
first required one.
Right.
Then you have your bounding, basically.
The face.
Those two.
Those
Yeah.
are the main ones.
Yeah.
Okay, and then where the contraction ends.
Gotcha. All right. I gotcha.
And you can have all these in between if you want them. There's
Okay.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you've already got information for them, I'd leave them in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I
There's
was
no
really gonna
problem
get
with
the
that.
information. I wanna make
The
sure.
only thing you're gonna have to do, well, I won't tell you what to do, but you'll have to look into ineffective areas. Look into that, and then when you have more questions, I can help you out with that.
Mine that popped up, cause the bridge would be right here, right? And I put one, I guess, sort of at the center and one.
Yeah, you don't need that one.
Yeah.
So say, we'll just say,
Yeah.
you can
I just put it
throw
in
that one away.
for reference, and I guess you set the main one, see where it, like right here, it kinda looks like it gets smaller.
Yeah.
Opening here.
Yeah, and I think what you're trying to refer to is you try to put a cross section wherever there's a major change in channel geometry.
Yeah.
And that's good, man.
Yeah.
That's another place you put a cross section. So that's what I'm saying. You could have your basic, and then you can have like 10 more in between that because of little changes, because you want to capture those changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a point where you can. Too much is just too much.
Yeah.
You're just wasting too much time.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, this is like 1, 2, 3,
You gotta
6, 7, 8.
But I'd say go ahead and put them in, man. Just
Yeah.
for the
No.
experience. It's
Yeah.
not gonna hurt
It's
it.
not gonna hurt. And I tried to do like in the center of the, I guess where the elevation was the smallest, the
Mhm.
line. I
And see
guess.
what's gonna
And
happen
then
here.
perpendicular to it.
You got these perpendicular, so that, these are all good. They're all perpendicular to the media channel. You'll want to begin to dogleg them somewhere. Just kind of picture yourself flowing through this huge floodplain. Like, you know, if the water's out here, imagine a small flood just flowing through the channel. It's confined to basically the banks.
The banks, yeah.
And then say the flood grows, it's confined, it's gonna jump
Every contour.
every
line.
contour based on how much it rises. So, say we were at, so the water surface elevation was at 770,
Yeah.
and then you got additional rain, and it jumped 2 foot. And these are now the limits of the flood right here.
Right.
So the water, you can picture kind of, you got some flow going this way, and then you got more flow in the overbank, maybe going this way.
Right.
So that's how you start doglegging your cross sections. to
Yeah,
make
that's
sure
the part I didn't really
I
understand
see.
how to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So the cross sections are perpendicular to that
to the
flow.
flow. Okay.
You're
I got
trying to
you.
model.
How the flow would be.
Yeah.
Trying and grasp the big picture of that flow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the part I didn't get, like.
And that's why you don't
right there.
dogleg these right here, because everything at this point is either going
Yeah.
over the roadway, and there's probably gonna be some overflow for the 100 year,
Like,
or it's either going under the bridge and
Okay.
it's squeezing and then it follows this
Okay.
type of shape.
Okay.
in the manual, is there like, I haven't read it yet, but is there like a certain like width that we're supposed to have of the cross section? Because like this one, it's.
Yeah, remember it's as long as you need it to
Mm-hmm.
confine your flood within the limits of that cross section.
Okay.
Because this one I did
Yeah, 'cause you might end up with
80
a-
feet down.
What you're gonna see, and I know you're gonna run into this, you're gonna end up with your cross section,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
it's
saw
under.
that in
Your water surface is probably gonna be like, okay, this is confined on this side and then overflowing on that
on
side.
the other side.
Then that just, all that
Then
means is that
you
you
have to keep
want,
going.
if this
Check the
cross
right
section
side.
is this one, all you wanna do is just extend this.
Okay.
See, yeah. Okay.
And
Until-
then you get additional data and start plotting it, and then, so you confine it. And then you run it again to see if it really confined it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll see that, it jumps just a little more, you know, but it's still confined. so
Combined
that's-
within the.
So
Okay.
starting
as
at
long
80
as we-
feet
yeah.
each is a good start, and then you see from there. Because I did
Yeah.
80 this way, 80 that way, but.
I normally just like to do, and you can kind of tell where water's gonna be confined,
Mhm.
just, I don't know if you've
The
done
higher
the FEMA
elevations, yeah.
flood map.
Yeah.
The FEMA flood map is a good, way to estimate how big your cross sections. We usually overlay that FEMA flood map, and then we use it to, define the limits of our cross section.
Oh, okay.
Because that tells, the FEMA, it depends on the type of flood zone it is.
Yeah.
Like this one's a zone A, it's just, FEMA basically did an approximate calculation
Okay.
based on the hydrology in this area, and they were able to say what the flooding limits are through here.
Okay.
And then that's how I determine, the limits of my cross sections.
Gotcha.
And then, when I go back and actually run it, like if
See the
I end up with this situation, that's when
Yeah.
I start extending it.
Okay.
'Cause remember, zone A is only, and this is what this is, it's
Mhm.
only approximate, it doesn't mean what's on their FEMA map is
It's correct.
exactly what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so if you
good.
wanna get the FEMA flood map, and I don't know if you guys know how to use that function, warping and microstation?
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah,
What's that
What
used for?
function is it?
it's a raster image.
Yeah.
Where you take a raster image and warp it to, like, your design elements.
Oh, yeah,
They should get it to line up with your,
Mhm.
that's very helpful if you can do that. That'll help you draw your cross section and determine their limits quickly. You're doing fine though, you don't need to go through it, just extend them as far as you can, as much as you
Yeah,
want.
and just see how it looks.
Okay.
Yeah, I just did like an average, just to see like both sides. I haven't really like written down the elevations.
And here's
all
the
that.
thing, I guess I'll go ahead and explain ineffective areas, because this is one thing that, when you submit a hydraulic report to our district hydraulic engineer, he looks for, there's what's called ineffective areas. So say this was the first cross section here where the contraction begins.
Mhm.
Anything in between, these are probably gonna be longer paths.
Yeah.
And they're probably gonna dogleg something like that.
Yeah.
See, the water's kind of following the contour.
Right.
And then this one might be something like that.
Yeah.
And then you might have your, this one, in that case, when you draw this one, it'd be something like this. See that?
Next one.
Yeah.
You're just trying to estimate the path of
The
water.
path of the water. Okay.
Yeah, this water's probably coming this way like this. See that?
Yeah. Okay.
Just imagine it jumping from contour to contour. What's the shape gonna look like? What do you think? Estimate the flow path,
Okay.
or the flow pattern through there. Okay, ineffective flow. The point where the contraction begins, there's no ineffective flow. It's just full channel, full floodplain flow with. But here, when you start contracting,
Okay.
when it starts contracting and
Yeah.
trying to get under that bridge, you end up with what are called ineffective flow areas. And what that is basically anything from this contraction cone from this, or this cross-section crosses a contraction
Yeah.
cone that you kind of figured out based on those criteria in the HEC-RES reference manual. They help you determine these cross-sections. This, it becomes from here on out, everything is ineffective flow. That's how you model that.
Okay.
Basically, it's just water that's there, but it's not really flowing. I guess it's just like
Just sitting.
kind of dead.
Okay.
It's not really.
The majority of the flow is being forced into this contraction. And this is where
Yeah.
the majority of the flow is that, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And it's trying to come out the same way, and that's why you have ineffective flows from this point on. And all you gotta do for that is it's just going to be a station and an elevation.
Okay.
And I can help you with this further when you get your HEC-RES model running.
Okay.
I'll help you refine that. That's a little, that's something that requires a little more experience, but
Okay.
it's not bad.
Not
I can
too
explain it later, but you guys need to get past this first.
Okay.
And I think you guys are on the right track,
Okay.
so that's why I don't like to put a lot of cross sections
In between
within the minimum
Yeah.
required
Oh,
section, because then you gotta do all these ineffective flows.
Oh.
And I
Okay.
just try to do only what's needed, but just do it, man, because
Yeah.
it'll run through it, it'll reinforce what you're
Yeah.
learning.
Okay.
And this is, like I said, there's nothing wrong with putting more.
Okay.
Like with this one, they're separated by 100 feet each at the, like, not the center.
That's no
but the other
problem,
ones.
man.
So
If that's what you wanted, if that's what you thought needed to happen, that's fine.
I just,
But-
as a, like,
And
just a thing.
and
just
I
to go
guess in
by.
the future, you'll see that you'll always want to start out by locating these.
The main ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
And then from there, you kind of work
Okay.
downstream, upstream,
Upstream.
and inserting where you need them.
Okay.
Channel geometry, big channel geometry changes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the big thing is we need to find out where it
Find those. Yeah. I'll look it
where
up
it
on
begins
the.
to.
There's a rule of thumb, and I gotta find that, but I think it's, and you can use this because it's a good rule of thumb. I think they even mentioned HEC-RES reference, and it'll probably make your work easier. It'll, usually on the upstream, it contracts at a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1-to-1.
Okay.
So go locate your bridge ends, basically, and then come
Do a
up with a
1-to-1.
1-to-1
Oh, nice. Okay. So that'll
to where it crosses that FEMA fictitious floodplain. That's why
Yeah.
you want to kind of
warp it into
warp it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see what
Okay.
you're saying. So
And
wherever.
then on the downstream side, we say
And then draw one of them.
we say
Exactly. Just
for
count
every
45
for every
feet
2
from
foot
the
downstream,
Transparency.
the cone moves out 1 foot. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay. Okay.
So this is actually probably gonna be like this. That's a 1-to-1. That's a steeper slope.
Okay. Okay.
And a 2-to-1. It does take time when the water is trying to expand
out.
to expand out.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's
So you can imagine a massive flood, how it's gonna contract. It'll be somewhat of you'll have steeper contraction slopes on the upstream, and
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
it'll just slide, gradually open up.
Open up. Okay. All right. I guess we can
Kinda
go.
go do an experiment in your hydraulics lab if you want. You got a hydraulics lab, right?
Yeah, we have a hydraulic slab.
Heck, I
But I
would
don't-
do that. I'd set up just like something similar, a little bridge, and just watch.
And watch how
What
the
happens
flow-
with the contraction
Okay.
and expansion.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
We should do that.
Yeah.
I would do that. It'll give you a better idea, and you'll get
We're in that group.
Oh, yeah.
that's yours to keep.
It's in.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all want to go ahead and go out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And